When you look at the quarterback situation and what's going on right now over the next 6 weeks with this spring recruiting, what's your specific role over the next 6 weeks?
Well, we hit the road tomorrow to get started. So as a staff, our first emphasis is in-state. So we're going to hit all the guys in-state Thursday and Friday. After that, we'll go out to see certain recruits by position. So for me, I'll go out to see quarterbacks. And then after that, we go to our area. So I'll be in my area, which is in Texas, for 3 weeks.
We've talked about how recruiting in-state is a different beast now for a variety of reasons. The Pac-12 footprint, Gary Anderson's influence in the state of Utah, still recruiting here. Former BYU players recruiting against BYU. They can try and simulate the LDS experience and whatnot. How much more different is recruiting now than, say, 10 or 20 years ago?
Yeah, there's a lot more schools coming into the state of Utah, and schools have had a lot of success with the players they've got from Utah, which brings them back, But yeah, with Utah going to the Pac-12, I think that's kind of opened up all those schools to really look in-state and come for recruits. So it's a great, opportunity to battle with those guys on the top players in the state of Utah.
Is there something to the former BYU players at other schools that can try and encourage guys to go on missions? Say 30 years ago, that wasn't necessarily the case.
Well, yeah, they're able to relate to those LDS kids that are thinking about serving a mission. They're able to relate to them and help sell their program that they represent. But at the same time, they can't really recruit dirty against BYU, because they've been through it and it's been a great blessing for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of, I guess, a positive for us is we don't run into a lot of negative recruiting against those guys like we will at other schools that don't have those guys on staff.
BYU quarterbacks coach Jason Beck with us in Studio B on BYU Sports Nation. We've talked about the loyalty and legacy cards with the family ties at BYU. You just had twin boys, so by default, are they required in 2033 to go to BYU? Will there be another option?
Well, it depends. We'll see what happens. No, I'd always want my kids to come here. It's such a great institution to get a great education in a fantastic environment that represents your values and beliefs, and then being able to play football at the highest level. So if that's the route my sons go with whatever sport or education or pursuit they go, of course BYU would be the dream school for us.
That is the correct answer.
You passed the test. You and Jamie had twin boys recently. Can you name one of them John?
We were going to go John.
Seriously?
Joe and Ja. No. That would have been pretty funny. But no, it's, Cameron and Jackson. So my wife's just unbelievable.
Jackson Brown and Cameron Jensen.
Yeah, there we go. It's been a wild ride the last 6 weeks or so.
How much sleep you getting?
Not bad. They've started to get like 5-hour stretches through the night, so it's got a lot better. Fortunately, had mother-in-law in town. My parents have been in town to help out, so we're getting all the help we can get.
Nice.
So any volunteers out there that want to come by?
Yeah, we'll let you know. You're going out on the recruiting trail to Texas, so it's tough to be away from family, but I guess one good part is maybe you get to sleep in, right?
Well, my wife might be watching, so no, not at all. But yeah, I'll be on the road for at least 4 weeks, and so my wife, we got to figure all that out so she can manage during that time. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be well rested. So
how does Justin Anderson change or help in recruiting now?
The big thing with Justin is his background is as a football coach, and so he's been in those shoes of the home visits, going school to school, looking for recruits, having evaluated talent, both film camps, as a coach. So that background, I think, is, really great. As well as he has a great personality to relate with recruits when they're on campus or through the social media. So I think he's going to be a great addition to our staff. We're just getting going, just a few weeks into it with him. So we'll kind of see what else he continues to bring to the table. But with this first week or so, that's been the obvious things, is just his background as a coach and his personality, which is great, and how that's going to help in the recruiting game.
Let's discuss his role with you. So, he's evaluating tape and talent. When he sees somebody that maybe he thinks you'll like, what happens at that point? when he first finds somebody on tape, like a quarterback that he thinks you might be interested in?
Well, he'd just, bring it to me right away saying, hey, I'm really excited about this guy. And then we'd be able to sit down and watch him and see where we go from there. At this point, it's been more, we kind of have guys on our board that we're looking at. So he's come in to get caught up to speed with where we're at and what he thinks of each guy. And so, it's just a great resource to have that extra set of eyes in the evaluation process.
How far ahead have you projected? I know until they sign, you can't mention their name, but into the future with possible quarterbacks that you would sign. I figured 2020 is Cody Wilstead, the end of the line of guys you can say their names, but beyond that.
Well, we have a commitment right now from a player who will go on a mission. So essentially, he'll be a 2018 signee. And just a few weeks ago, a month ago, I had a freshman in high school here on campus on an unofficial visit. He's a member of that 2018 class who, could also serve a mission. So, I mean, you're pretty far down the road with your planning.
26 or something?
Yeah. I mean,
Seriously.
it's pretty. And luckily, we have that all built out so we can see long term. But the recruiting game nowadays, I mean, you start looking at freshmen, sometimes eighth graders who.
That's crazy.
Yeah, who have, with this case of these freshman kids, they've played at the varsity level, so you're able to evaluate their film at the varsity level, which is a big thing for me. I don't like getting into the, you're looking at JV film, Pop Warner film. You need to see at least the kid in camp in person, or in varsity film.
The post-puberty quarterback. That's what we're going for.
Your voice has to at least drop.
Post-puberty quarterback.
Do you need to sign a quarterback in every class? Is that do missions play into that?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, we're going to want a quarterback in every class, whether that's come first right away, like we have this last signing class with Bo Hodge coming right away, but then also Cody Wilstead, who will go on his mission first and essentially be a member of the 2017 class. But you want at least one each year in general, so that way you have 4 to possibly 5 quarterbacks on your roster at a time.
Let's talk about the two young guys or new guys coming back into BYU football. Tanner Mangum coming off of a mission and Bo Hodge coming from high school. How long does it take to get them up to speed and with what you guys want to do once they can officially start here in fall camp?
It's just kind of the learning curves different for each guy. And we're trying to push that, accelerate that as much as possible. So we've started sending film and cut-ups and playbook to Bo. So he's learning the offense now and watching film. And as he works out and trains, he's simulating those throws that we ask our quarterbacks to make in the offense. So, we're starting that now. So when he shows up on campus, hopefully he has a decent base underneath him. With Tanner, we'll just wait. As soon as he gets back, he'll get to work. Fortunately, he had a spring here before his mission, so he'll have some sort of base to fall back to. But, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of just getting right to work, as soon as possible to get those guys up to speed.
Now, I've heard that Tanner's learning curve is off the charts right now from some of his teammates and coaches, and I believe you at one point told me that you're just really impressed with how quickly he's able to pick up on things. If things go as planned, is he the guy that you look to have as your backup when the season starts?
Well, first he's going to have to get back physically into shape, throwing, running, all those things that come with 2 years off, being on a mission. But no, him and Bo are going to come in and compete right away, and that process will go through camp, and we'll see who battles it out and earns that job and where they're at. We also have Coy Detmer Jr. coming in as a walk-on that is a really good player, and we're excited about to have in the mix. He's going to bring a lot to the table. And then we'll see what happens with McCoy Hill. He's still rehabbing from his injury, and that will run into the fall camp time period. So we'll see what he's able to do. Obviously, he has the best grasp on the offense and able to execute, that way. But no, they're all going to get a chance to compete and earn playing time as our backup this year.
I've asked this to Kelly Papinga. I want to get your opinion on this. We discussed, would you rather have a return missionary, a couple months off their mission, or a kid out of high school physically?
A kid out of high school. is.
That was his answer as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're more physically ready to go, but obviously we major in the world of kids coming off missions and getting ready to play. And, so from our training staff to strength staff, I mean, there's a very specific plan in place to build up their capacity and their volume. So when we get to Nebraska, first game, they're ready to play at the highest level, and we're not breaking them beforehand or behind. So, luckily, if you're a kid coming off a mission, I mean, there's nobody that's better at this in the world than we are, because that's what we major in.
You've done it.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it. A lot of our guys on staff have done it, and 80% of our team has done it. So, we're well versed in the return missionary protocol.
Can Tanner Mangum be ready for the season as a backup to Taysom, and hopefully he's not needed right away? But in 3 months?
Yeah,
3 months.
He'll be. We'll work him back. Just knowing Tanner, how he is, having that work with him in the spring, he'll be ready to go. Now, we may not throw it all at him. We'll just build his capacity as far as the volume of the playbook as we go. But he'll be ready, with a general grasp of what he needs to do to, if called upon, help us win games.
Taysom Hill is your clear starting quarterback, to nobody's surprise, and I mean nobody's surprise. But what is his game plan for the summer? What have you asked him to work on during these off months?
Well, we're having these exit interviews right now before we hit the road recruiting, and so I just had mine yesterday with Taysom. And, he's taken total ownership of the offense for this summer, this offseason, especially with the skilled players. So obviously they'll have their weightlifting, their running, all those things. But for him, it's, a regiment of getting with the skilled players to work on specific skills each day through the summer. So when they come to fall camp, they're playing at a higher level than when we left off at the spring. And he's obviously, this is his last year. He's fired up. He's all in, ready to go. And so he has total ownership of what our offensive guys are going to be doing in this offseason to be ready for fall camp and for this next year.
There was a obviously notable difference, and there should have been, when Taysom Hill got hurt. But emotionally, I felt there was a big difference. Is the emotional workflow or business model very similar this year in that, okay, Taysom's so good, we're going to rely on him and hope that he stays healthy this year?
Well, we'll make some adjustments. We're looking to do a little more tailback run game to take a little bit off the plate that way. But the biggest thing that you kind of mentioned is just leadership-wise. So Taysom's obviously going to be the main, a captain, main leader on the offense and for the entire team. But we saw that last year when he went down. It was similar to, the alpha dog of the pack is gone, and now all of a sudden, who's that next guy that's going to step up? And we went through that learning curve last year, and which helped to mature a lot of players. Up front, Keyshawn's a guy that's clearly emerging as a leader of that pack. And there's guys like that at different positions. Mitch Matthews at the receivers clearly emerged through last year and this spring as a leader of the receivers, and so there's different guys stepping up in those leadership roles to help in that case. But, Taysom is kind of that alpha dog, he's that captain and leader of the offense.
Taysom told me after the spring game that the playbook has been opened up to him. How comfortable are you and Coach and I giving Taysom anything that's in the playbook to go out and for him to execute it at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, he knows the playbook inside and out. We're obviously, working to get better at certain things, and you always want to get quicker and more decisive in your reads and decision-making. But he has a great grasp of everything we're doing. So, for instance, day one of fall camp, it could very easily be a situation where I take these new guys and go to a walkthrough, and, Taysom can be, with the receivers running a meeting with those guys because he has that kind of knowledge and understanding of the offense where he's like another coach, able to tell everybody what to do and their assignments at a really high level, which is awesome, and so we'll rely on him, that leadership and that teaching to help our offense and to help, to be ready to go this fall.
Are there any graduate transfers on the radar? I know that recruiting process is different.
Yeah, it's, I've heard of a guy or two that are still in the mix. a lot more goes into that as far as needing to get accepted into graduate school. And so a lot of it's just, you wait to see if it plays out and happens. But I think there might be one possibility that's still in the mix, but might be coming more of a long shot. We'll see.
We've talked a lot about Frank Wintrick and what he's done for the team. What's the coaching regime under Frank Wintrick? Is there a Roger That program for the coaches to get physically ready for the season?
We did last year. We did that Cougar Challenge in the summer. So I know for me, that took a little preparation. You can't just show up and swim a mile and bike 20 miles, whatever it was.
You can't just show up and run a 5.3 40, man.
And so there wasn't anything set as a program, but man, individually, you got to kind of work your way into that deal.
Most importantly,
I did hear about your 5.35, was it?
It was an
40?
impressive 5.35,
and I did see the video. And I got to say, that's pretty good.
Thanks, man.
I mean, I would, we're
the
similar
same
age. Yeah.
We're the same
so
age.
I would not want to have to walk out there and run a 40 right now. I'm pretty sure I'd be sore tomorrow because I'm not working those quick twitch sprinting muscles, very often. And so, to walk out there and run, it's, everybody would like to deceive themselves and think they're faster than that. But that's probably pretty
happened.
Realistic.
That's what happened.
Thank
in
you
this
very
Oh, were you
situation.
building up? Yeah. Were you thinking a 4.9 originally?
I have a goal. I have a goal to break 5 seconds at some point.
Okay, yeah. So that may have been, deceiving yourself.
You played right into that. That was so awesome.
Most importantly, we're one day closer to Lincoln Memorial Stadium.
Countdown to the Cornhuskers.
143.
We noticed the Beat Nebraska sign on the doors. I like that.
Yeah, we have that on
Focused.
on the door, and then we have a monitor in the lobby that kind of counts down the days, the hours, the seconds. Yeah, so it's kind of always that. It's a matter of what you do each day to build to that, but you always want to have that long-term goal of what you're working towards.
Jason, great stuff. Good luck on the road, recruiting in Texas. Rest up while you can. And 143 days away. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Excited to get recruiting and excited for this fall.